Things are gonna get better now, but you're still a drunken slob. Things are gonna get better now.
Yes. Oh my. It really did get a lot better for you. I'm telling you, you are going to be so excited after this podcast that you'll probably want to start your own podcast. Well, hopefully. Well, you know what time it is. It's time for Headbangers and Hooligans. And as always, yours truly, Scum Malicious, ready to talk about side projects. It's kind of a normal thing now. Back in... Here I go, showing my age again. Back in the 80s when I first started getting all excited about music, listening to my Def Leppard and Iron-Maiden cassettes, you didn't have a lot of guys that were in multiple bands. That's the norm now for a lot of guys. I know it's really prevalent in the death metal scene. Everybody knows, not a huge fan of death metal, but I've seen a lot of guys in multiple bands. When it comes to death metal, black metal, yeah, I guess for some guys it's better to stay active, when it comes to music. Now, not all guys can do that either. A lot of bands, they're not in the band full time. It's actually they work a full-time job and then they're in the band. Some guys do music full time. It's a whole new ball game when we're talking about 2017. And I came up with my 8. Yeah, I only did 8 favorite side projects. I know there's a lot more than 8, and but for me, that's all the farther I wanted to go. Because I also too, just because if I listen to a certain musician, a singer, and they have doesn't mean I'll like the side project. Maybe it's a form of a different genre of music that I don't even listen to. So for me, yeah, it's a pretty short list. I got 8, and let's get after it. First one. Superjoint, which it used to be Superjoint Ritual. And remember Hank Williams III played bass? Remember that? He was on the Warped Tour a couple years. The 2 years that I went, I never got to see him perform, but I always did. I always just wanted to see his live show, and I always thought that was interesting. The Hank Williams' great-grandson was in punk bands and metal bands, but that guy, he's got all kinds of shit going on. So, of course, it's Phil Anselmo, and I've got to admit something. I was late on the Superjoint Ritual and now Superjoint band. I was late to that party. I'd heard one song, and I don't remember the name of the song. Maybe that has something to do with it. A forgettable song. I just remember the time not getting real excited about it. And then about 5 years ago, I clicked on one of the albums. It was A Lethal Dose. Actually, it was A Lethal Dose of American Hatred. And I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. Why was I not listening to this band? Waiting for a Turning Point was the song. I thought, man, I really like this. It's heavy. I like Phil Anselmo's vocal style. I always have. I guess I like angry guys that fucking yell. What can I say? I like that style, I guess. But their first one, Use Once and Destroy, that thing, it's still my favorite one. Everyone Hates Everyone. the Alcoholic, Fuck Your Enemy. I love that guitar riff in Fuck Your Enemy. And Ozina, that song, that guitar riff, you know what I'm talking about. Dun, 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 dun. It's so fucking heavy. I love that guitar riff. And of course, 2016, Caught Up in the Gears of Application. I like it. And that album, it mixed more other shit in it than the first two did. You know, of course, we're talking about a 13-year layoff there, and Caught Up in the Gears of Application, you know, kind of had some death metalish kind of stuff going on there, and of course he has that death metal band Scour now that he started, but yeah, definitely big Superjoint fan. Superjoint Ritual. Mike Patton. You have to know he's on here. And literally could probably make an entire podcast about all of Mike Patton's side projects. But like I said before, just because I love Mike Patton. I think he's fucking awesome. I love the fact that he's a gigantic smartass. That's probably why I like him so much. But just because he's doing all these different things, that doesn't mean I like all of them, because I don't. I didn't care for Tomahawk, and I think he was in Dillinger Escape Plan at first. I could be wrong. First couple albums or something. And I do like Phantomas. I like some of it, but I don't like all of it. And that in itself, Mike Patton's like, I don't give a fuck. Okay, Scum Militias, I don't care if you don't listen to me. And hell, he's probably starting another band right now as we speak. I'm talking about Mr. Bungle. And, you know, in the beginning, when he was in Faith No More, or when he got the job to replace Chuck Mosley, he would tell you that Mr. Bungle was actually his band. Faith No More was the side project. Of course, eventually that turned over time, but or rather changed over time, not turned over. That debut album, Mr. Bungle, you've heard me talk about it. It's in my top 50 of all time. The fucking absolute insanity. Every music genre you can think of is in a song. You know, horn section, then funk, then this all balls to the wall thrash section, then back to the little funky part. You know, Love is a Fist. That song, the thrash riff on that is one of the greatest riffs of all time. Yep, you know I like saying that. Boy, I have so many things that I say that too, don't I? That's the greatest bass line of all time. Or, oh my God, did you hear what he said there? That's the best pronunciation of the word fuck I've ever heard in the history of music. Everything's like so epic with me, right? It's like, calm down, dude. Not everything has to be of all time, right? Anyway, though, that guitar riff is amazing and Love is a Fist. I love My Ass is on Fire. Now, Disco Volante, the next album, that one, wow. Like, there's parts on that album, it's just nothing. It's like, it's the drums in the background and the bass, and they're playing horns, and he's talking, or it's just keyboards. It's like progressive jazz for like 2 minutes, and you're thinking, what is going on here? That's what Mr. Bungle does. They don't give a fuck. And you know, the last one that they did, California, it's a decent record, but the last song on there, Goodbye Sober Day, best song on the album by far. A couple other songs on there, but especially with Disco Volante in California, they were really, really experimental. The reason I like the debut is because there was a lot of guitar, heavy guitar, on that first album. And the next two, there wasn't a lot of that heavy guitar in them. So I didn't like them as much, but I still love Mr. Bungle. And if you want to check out some crazy shit, they've got them all of them uploaded on YouTube, all of their demos. And one of them is like strictly just death metal, and it sounds like total dog shit because you can tell they're recording through a 4-track. But just listening to those songs and then reminding yourself that they're all like 16 and 17 years old recording that music, and you're like, holy fuck. I know I was, but like I've always said, I'm a mediocre garage guitarist, so it don't take much to get me excited. So yeah, definitely Mr. Bungle, top, one of the best side projects of all time. I had to say it again. All right, Infectious Grooves. Talking Mike Muir, and then Robert Trujillo was in there for a while. Same Robert Trujillo that was in Suicidal Tendencies with Mike Muir, and then Stephen Perkins, the drummer who was in Jane's Addiction. So you had a lot of different guys that played in the Vandals. The reason I said the Vandals is because Josh Freese, the drummer, I think he played on one of the albums for the Infectious Grooves. You know, they had the Plague That Makes Your Booty Move, Sarsipius Art. I have the cassette, Groove Family Psycho. You know, it's got the lead track is violent and funky, violent and funky. You can write some shit until you get your fucking head blown off. Damn. Yeah, it was all funk and thrash, and a little bit of punk. I really love the Infectious Grooves though, and the nice thing about them is it got to showcase Robert Trujillo before he was, before he was in Metallica. Me and the Bucks were talking about this. I was so excited for him to get that Metallica gig as the bass player because he deserved it. He's been playing in all these bands his whole life, never really made any money. So good for him that he got to make some money in Metallica. But definitely for me, Groove Family Psycho is my favorite of the full-length albums. Infectious Grooves. They got the Plague to Make Your Booty Move. You know. I wanted it to sound cooler than that, but it just didn't. It didn't fucking come out right. I apologize. Alright. The Implants. Fourth band here. The Implants, if you don't know, well, you fucking better. What the hell's wrong with you? Alright. It's Rob Ramos, guitarist. Remember? Who's his other band? Trivia. I wish my son was here because he could answer it. Strung Out. You got Jim Blowers on the other guitar. Police. Chris Daly on drums, who's also in Police and Authority Zero. Personally, my favorite drummer right now. He really is. He's that good. Matt Riddle on bass. He replaced Chris Del Rio. And then Ken Conti's the singer. Of course, they had the Olden Age, the EP that came out last year, and then they had the full length From Chaos to Order. Just an awesome band, and to think that like a couple guys in Poli, like this is their side band, and it's so good. I love Poli, I love Strung Out, but to be in them bands and then have a side project, it's just, and it's so good. These guys, they know how to write songs. They're fast, they're catchy, and everybody knows how much I love and it's not really skate punk, okay? That term gets a little overused too. Alright? They're just a good punk band that write good songs that you want to sing and you want to listen to over and over. And some of them are fast. Number 5. There, I did it. I did that thing where I changed my voice to make it sound like it's really a big deal when it's not. But it kind of is because we're talking about Iron-Reagan. 2012 out of Richmond, Virginia. That's hard to believe. Think about that. 5 years, they've already put out 3 full-length albums. Of course, 2 of the main guys, Tony Forresta, the singer, and Phil Hall, the guitarist, who plays bass in Cannibal Corpse. Jeez. In Municipal Waste, and of course, Tony's the singer in Municipal Waste. And then Hellbear bassist Rob Scotus is in Iron-Reagan too. Wow. And I'm telling you, Crossover Ministry, that's going to be my top 10 albums of the year. I still love it. The songs are so fucking catchy on there. Fuck the Neighbors, Bleed the Fifth. You can check it out. It's all uploaded on YouTube. They had the Tyranny of Will before that. And you know what? That was an okay album, but Crossover Ministry is 2 times better of an album to me. And I liked their debut, Worse Than Dead. And it had Psycho Violence on it. That fucking guitar riff. Violent Psycho. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, violence. I can't explain it. It gives me weird feelings when I listen to it. Not those kind of weird feelings. Get your fucking mind out of the gutter, you sickos. But yeah, especially think about that. And Municipal Waste is a busy band, but to put out 3 albums from a side project in 5 years, that's pretty fucking impressive. So you got to give them respect for that. Not easy to do that. We're already to number 6. There's only 2 left after this. Roger Murray and the Disasters. Key guy in this, of course, is Roger Murray, who's also the lead singer for Agnostic Front. Now, the one thing about Roger Murray and the Disasters, and they've been around since 2002, they put out 4 full-length albums. I know, you're talking 15 years, but it's a side project. It's not the main band. The cool thing about it is different than Agnostic Front, and it's a good band. I noticed a couple of the commenters on YouTube, and I don't know why I keep doing this to myself and pay attention to what trolls and fucking idiots say. They're like, wow, Roger sounds really different. Oh, really, Einstein? He sounds different? Because it's a different fucking band. They're not playing Agnostic Front. This is more like a street punk band, The Disasters. It's not Agnostic Front, a hardcore band. That's the reason he's doing this as a side project. I mean, sometimes people just say this dumb as fucking shit. They play different music and the songs are all different, but the singer's different too? How did you do that? I know, I'm kind of going off on stupidity, and it doesn't even matter, but just a lot of cool songs. I love Kiss Me, Kill Me. That's a great track. Oh, and Hooligans. One of the greatest songs ever written. Well pissed, we're drunk. Hooligans. Yeah. Hey, how about that Roger Murray with a little shout out to Headbangers and Hooligans. I bet he's listening right now. Of course, he sang that song about 11 years ago. So, came out before the station. It still doesn't matter. I can lie to people. Go to a party. Hey, you know that song Hooligans from Roger Murray and the Disasters? No, who the fuck is that? Well, you should know. They wrote a song about my fucking show, Headbangers and Hooligans. It's called Hooligans. It's kind of shit you say to stupid people at a party. Well, drunk people at a party. Anyway, great band. They got all 4 of their albums uploaded on YouTube. You should check them out. Side project number 7. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. I love this band. I do. 8 full-length albums. And the main guy, of course, is Fat Mike. You know the story. Listen, I said it before. He's a smart guy. I just hate some of the stupid shit he says and does. But he's a smart guy. He knows the music business. Starts a band. Guys, and all these guys that are in punk bands join together in a band to do songs that you wouldn't think of punk bands doing. And at the time, I mean, it was a smart idea, and it still is. You know, and of course you got Spike, the lead singer, who was in Swinging Utters, Chris Shiflett, who plays guitar, who was in Foo Fighters and No Use for a Name, and of course the two guys from Lagwagon, Joey Cape and Dave Ron, the drummer for Lagwagon. But they do it all. Like, their first album was like 70s classic, you know, classic rock songs. Then they had an R&B album, even a country album. You know, they sing Jolene, Desperado, that live album. I mean, they do the James Taylor song Fire and Rain off the first album. It's just, it's a fun band, and they're singing songs that we all know. And I'll tell you what, say what you want, but Spike, the singer, he's a good singer. He sounds good on these songs. You know, I know I sure as hell have heard a lot worse. I think he brings it, and I can even set aside my disdain for Fat Mike and listen to this band, because they're just too good. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like this band. So I'm too honest, I guess. And the last band that I'm going to talk about for side projects, Mad Season, Lane Staley. Yes, the guy that sang for Alice in Chains. He sang on one album, and I read this, and quite honestly, I won't listen to it. I guess they're going to do another album with Barrett Martin, the lead singer, and Duff McKagan as the bassist. Mike McCready is still going to be the guitarist, but man, if you ain't got Lane Staley singing on this, it's not the same band. I'm sorry, especially for a side project. That's just my opinion. But one song, River of Deceit. If you cannot listen to that song and not get chilled from listening to that song, then you're heartless, man. You've got no soul, bitch. Seriously though, his vocals on that album, Above, unbelievable. You know, I don't know anything. They played the shit out of that on the radio. But alright. Yeah, it's gotta be Lane Staley for me. And of course, that will never happen. Means he's no longer with us, but what a singer. And I've said this 1,000 times, and everybody knows I'm right. He influenced so many different guys. Think of all the bands that you hear that fucking sound like Lane Staley. There's a shitload of them. That's the truth, peeps. So there you go. Those are my 8 favorite side projects. And you know how I'm going to end this. Alright? Take it easy. And if it's easy, take it twice. I'm out.